The topic we'll cover is resource management, the processes that ensure the project has the right people, equipment, and materials available at the right time to complete the work successfully. In predictive projects, resource management begins with planned resource management. This process defines how resources will be identified, acquired, managed, and released. The outputs include the resource management plan, the team charter, and tools such as the responsibility assignment matrix, often shown as a RACI chart, which clarifies who is responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed for each task. Next, you estimate activity resources. This step involves quantifying the type and amount of labor, equipment, materials, and supplies required to perform each activity. After estimating, you move to acquire resources, where you secure both human and physical resources. This may involve negotiation with functional managers, assigning available staff, or obtaining resources through procurement. Once resources are secured, the project manager focuses on developing the team. This process builds team skills, fosters trust, and improves collaboration. The Tuckman ladder describes the stages of team development: forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. The next process is manage team, which involves tracking performance, resolving conflicts, and giving feedback. The exam often tests conflict resolution techniques. The options include withdraw or avoid, which delays dealing with the conflict; smooth or accommodate, which emphasizes areas of agreement; compromise or reconcile, which looks for a middle ground; force or direct, which is a win-lose approach; and collaborate or problem solve, which is PMI's preferred method because it seeks a win-win outcome. In addition to managing people, you must also control resources, which is about monitoring physical resources such as equipment and materials to ensure they are used as planned and remain available when needed. Understanding organizational structures is also important for the exam. In a functional structure, authority rests with department managers, and the project manager has little influence. In a matrix structure, authority is shared and can be weak, balanced, or strong depending on the organization. In a projectized structure, the project manager has the highest authority and direct control over resources. The exam may also test on motivation theories that explain how to manage and inspire teams. Maslow's hierarchy of needs highlights that basic needs must be met before higher-level motivation occurs. Herzberg's two-factor theory distinguishes between hygiene factors that prevent dissatisfaction and motivators that truly drive satisfaction. McGregor's Theory X and Theory Y contrasts a view of workers as inherently unmotivated and needing direction versus workers as self-motivated and seeking responsibility. So, predictive resource management is about planning how resources will be managed, estimating and acquiring them, developing and managing the team, monitoring resource use, and applying organizational and motivational theories to support project success. Now we'll go through practice questions that test your knowledge of resource management planning, conflict resolution techniques, team development models, and motivation theories in predictive environments. Let's get into our first question on this topic. Question 61. A predictive software project is in the early planning phase. The project manager is preparing a resource management plan and wants to ensure role clarity and accountability across departments. Which of the following tools would be most effective for achieving this? A. Organizational breakdown structure, OBS. B. Responsibility assignment matrix, RACI. C. Resource histogram. D. Staffing management plan. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is B. This question tests your knowledge of resource management tools, particularly how to promote clarity in roles and responsibilities within a predictive project environment. Choice B is the best option because the responsibility assignment matrix clearly defines who is responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed for each task or deliverable. It's especially helpful in cross-functional environments to reduce ambiguity and improve coordination. Choice A is incorrect. The organizational breakdown structure shows departments or units and their connection to project work, but it doesn't explicitly define individual roles or accountability. Choice C is incorrect. A resource histogram displays resource usage over time, useful for capacity planning, not defining roles or responsibilities. Choice D is incorrect. The staffing management plan outlines how resources will be acquired, developed, and released, but it lacks the visual clarity of responsibility assignments like a RACI matrix. Let's move on to the next question if you're ready. Question 62. A project manager is preparing the schedule for a predictive product launch. During planning, the team identifies a complex work package that requires specialized testing, but there is uncertainty about the exact resource needs. What should the project manager do to estimate the activity resources? A. Consult historical data from previous projects and apply expert judgment to forecast resource needs. B. Engage with functional managers to assign available resources and monitor utilization during execution. C. Use analogous estimating based on a similar project and update the estimates once more details are known. D. Apply resource smoothing techniques to reduce the resource variability across the project phases. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is A. This question tests your understanding of how to estimate activity resources in predictive projects, especially when uncertainty exists during the planning phase. It focuses on selecting the most effective approach to forecasting resource needs using available data and tools. Choice A is the best option because using historical data and expert judgment is a recommended practice when estimating resources in predictive environments. This ensures a data-informed and experience-based forecast, which is critical when specialized tasks are involved. Choice B is incorrect. While involving functional managers is appropriate for acquiring resources, assigning and monitoring during execution does not address the need for estimating during planning. Choice C is incorrect. Analogous estimating may work, but deferring updates until later phases creates risk. Predictive planning emphasizes upfront accuracy. Choice D is incorrect. Resource smoothing is a schedule optimization technique, not a resource estimation tool. It's used after estimates have been created, not as a method for developing them. Let's move on to the next question if you're ready. Question 63. A predictive engineering project is in the initiation phase. The project manager is developing the resource management plan but learns that several key technical experts are assigned to other high-priority initiatives. What should the project manager do to acquire the necessary resources? A. Meet with the project sponsor to elevate the resource constraints and seek prioritization. B. Collaborate with functional managers to clarify availability and agree on resource commitments. C. Adjust the resource plan to focus on currently available personnel to avoid delays. D. Submit a formal staffing request to the PMO for assistance in resolving the conflict. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is B. This question tests your ability to navigate resource conflicts in a predictive project operating in a matrix environment, a common situation on the PMP exam. It evaluates how well you engage the right stakeholders while maintaining project performance. Choice B is the best option because in a matrix structure, the project manager does not directly control resources. Collaborating with functional managers ensures the project stays aligned with staffing realities while maintaining professional relationships. Choice A is incorrect. While escalation might work eventually, it's premature. PMI encourages resolving conflicts at the lowest level through collaboration first. Choice C is incorrect. While this may help maintain momentum, it risks misalignment between resources and the scope that actually needs expert input. Choice D is incorrect. Although submitting a request through the PMO sounds process compliant, it lacks the stakeholder engagement necessary for effective resolution in a matrix environment. Let's move on to the next question if you're ready. Question 64. A predictive government project is in the early execution phase. Team members are debating how to approach technical decisions, voicing frustration about unclear processes, and occasionally questioning each other's roles. The project manager observes tension and reduced collaboration. Which stage of team development does this most likely represent, and what should the project manager do? A. Storming. Support open discussion and help the team clarify roles and processes. B. Forming. Delegate tasks quickly to accelerate team performance. C. Norming. Encourage the team to resolve issues independently to build trust. D. Performing. Shift focus toward continuous improvement and self-management. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is A. This question tests your understanding of Tuckman's ladder of team development, a key team development model often applied in predictive projects. It also evaluates your ability to recognize behavioral cues and take the right leadership approach during early execution. Choice A is the best option because the symptoms, tension, confusion, pushback, and lack of alignment, are classic indicators of the storming stage. During this phase, the project manager should promote open discussion, clarify expectations, and guide the team toward shared understanding. Choice B is incorrect. Delegating quickly in the forming stage may backfire if the team hasn't yet built trust or clarified roles. Choice C is incorrect. In the norming stage, teams begin to self-organize, but the question indicates that trust and role clarity haven't yet been achieved. Choice D is incorrect. Performing teams are high-functioning with minimal conflict and strong autonomy, not the case described here. Let's move on to the next question, if you're ready. Question 65. Two experienced team members on a predictive project are in conflict over how to implement a key requirement. The disagreement is causing tension during meetings and slowing progress. As the project manager, what should you do? A. Meet with each individual privately to understand their perspectives and reduce friction. B. Pause the discussion and ask both team members to submit written proposals for review. C. Facilitate a structured discussion to reach a mutually beneficial solution. D. Refer the issue to the functional manager since both team members report to them. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is C. This question tests your understanding of conflict resolution strategies in a predictive environment, especially when managing interpersonal disagreements between skilled team members. PMI strongly favors the collaborate/problem-solve approach because it aims for consensus and long-term resolution rather than short-term fixes or avoidance. Choice C is the best option because it reflects the collaborative problem-solving technique, a structured, inclusive approach that leads to commitment and shared ownership. It's especially important in predictive projects where trust and clarity among team members drive execution quality. Choice A is incorrect. While understanding perspectives is useful, handling the conflict privately may delay resolution and limit transparency. This is closer to smooth or accommodate, which doesn't address root causes. Choice B is incorrect. Asking for written proposals delays conflict resolution and may escalate tensions. It leans toward avoidance and reduces face-to-face collaboration. Choice D is incorrect. In predictive environments, especially when the project manager has formal authority, escalating to functional management should be a last resort. It avoids responsibility and can damage team dynamics. Let's move on to the next question if you're ready. Question 66. Midway through a predictive construction project, the project manager learns that several critical pieces of equipment reserved for an upcoming phase are no longer available due to internal reallocation by another department. What should the project manager do first? A. Initiate a negotiation with the department that reassign the equipment to recover what was lost. B. Conduct a physical resource audit and compare availability to the resource management plan. C. Submit a change request to extend the schedule based on the anticipated delay. D. Contact procurement to immediately source replacement equipment from external vendors. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is B. This question tests your understanding of resource control in predictive project environments, specifically the need to monitor actual usage of physical resources against the resource management plan. Choice B is the best option because conducting a resource audit ensures the project manager first verifies what is truly available and compares it against what was planned. This is essential before taking corrective actions. In PMI's approach, monitoring precedes escalation or change. Choice A is incorrect. Negotiating may ultimately be needed, but acting before confirming the current resource status could lead to misalignment or wasted effort. It's a reactive step without baseline verification. Choice C is incorrect. Submitting a change request at this stage is premature. Change control is necessary only after confirming a variance exists and understanding its impact on the schedule or scope. Choice D is incorrect. Going to procurement immediately assumes replacement is needed without validation. This risks unnecessary spending and may not be aligned with the original plan. Let's move on to the next question if you're ready. Question 67. During a status review meeting on a predictive project, two team members both claim they were responsible for a failed deliverable, but neither is clear who is ultimately accountable. The client is dissatisfied and the team's trust has been impacted. What should the project manager do next? A. Clarify who is accountable for the deliverable and ensure the team aligns on roles. B. Schedule a lessons learned session to prevent similar issues in future phases. C. Update the project schedule to reflect the delay caused by the confusion. D. Review the documented role definitions in the resource management plan for needed adjustments. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is A. This question tests your ability to interpret and act on responsibility assignment issues using a RACI matrix in a predictive environment. When confusion exists over who is responsible versus accountable, the project manager must immediately clarify ownership to avoid further breakdowns. Choice A is the best option because it addresses the core problem, unclear accountability. In a RACI matrix, each task or deliverable must have a single accountable party. Clarifying this ensures future alignment and restores confidence in team roles. Choice B is incorrect. While a lessons learned session is valuable, it happens later in the project and doesn't resolve the immediate role confusion. It's a reactive measure, not a corrective action. Choice C is incorrect. Updating the schedule only records the impact of the issue. It doesn't resolve the root cause. The confusion over accountability must be clarified first before adjusting project timelines. Choice D is incorrect. Reviewing documented roles may be useful as a follow-up, but it does not directly resolve who is currently accountable for the failed deliverable. The project manager needs to take immediate action with the team. Let's move on to the next question if you're ready. Question 68. A project manager is leading a predictive project within a functional organization. One team member has been reassigned to a different initiative without consulting the project manager, affecting the project schedule. What should the project manager do next? A. Notify the project sponsor to ensure support for resource recovery. B. Reassign tasks among remaining team members to maintain delivery timelines. C. Submit a formal change request to document the reduction in available resources. D. Consult the functional manager to assign resources based on departmental availability. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is D. This question tests your understanding of authority and decision-making roles in a functional organizational structure. In predictive projects run under functional reporting lines, project managers have limited authority over staff. Resource assignments typically fall under the control of functional managers. Choice D is the best option because in a functional organization, the project manager must work through the functional manager to assign or recover team resources. This aligns with PMI's expectations for resource coordination in predictive environments. Choice A is incorrect. While sponsor support may help if resource conflicts persist, escalating immediately bypasses the functional manager and skips proper channels. Choice B is incorrect. Reassigning tasks without addressing the root cause of the resource loss could lead to further imbalance or overloading the team. Choice C is incorrect. A change request may be appropriate if the issue cannot be resolved, but first, the project manager should follow internal processes to try and recover the resource through the functional manager. Let's move on to the next question if you're ready. Question 69. A project manager notices that team members are increasingly disengaged despite the project staying on schedule. Exit interviews reveal no major conflicts or pay issues, but employees report feeling that their work lacks purpose and recognition. Based on Herzberg's motivation theory, what should the project manager do? A. Emphasize job security and salary stability to improve morale. B. Address underlying work conditions to remove dissatisfaction and enable motivators. C. Rotate team members across different tasks to create variety and reduce boredom. D. Provide mandatory professional development courses to improve skill alignment. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is B. This question tests your knowledge of Herzberg's two-factor theory, which separates factors that eliminate dissatisfaction, hygiene factors, from those that truly motivate, motivators. Just removing problems doesn't increase satisfaction. You need to add elements that create meaning, recognition, and growth. Choice B is the best option because it reflects Herzberg's dual approach. Fix the environment if needed, but also create purpose and recognition to spark intrinsic motivation. The key is enabling motivators like achievement, responsibility, and growth. Choice A is incorrect. Salary and job security are hygiene factors. Improving them may reduce complaints but won't create engagement or satisfaction. Choice C is incorrect. Task rotation may address boredom, but it's not tied directly to Herzberg's motivators unless it includes meaningful work or ownership. Choice D is incorrect. Mandatory development may not address the core issue. Training should be aligned with personal growth and autonomy to act as a true motivator. Let's move on to the next question if you're ready. Question 70. A project manager is leading a predictive project with team members distributed across multiple time zones. Recently, the team has encountered missed handoffs and inconsistent understanding of requirements. What is the most appropriate action the project manager should take? A. Establish clear communication protocols and ensure access to project documentation. B. Implement overlapping work hours and require all team members to attend scheduled meetings. C. Assign regional leads to manage communication within their zones and report updates to the project manager. D. Increase the use of instant messaging and informal chats to improve responsiveness. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is A. This question tests how to manage virtual teams in a predictive project, where structure, documentation, and formal communication are key. Unlike agile environments that favor flexibility, predictive projects require predefined plans and controlled flows of information. Choice A is the best option because it reflects PMI's best practices, establishing formal communication expectations, setting protocols for asynchronous collaboration, and ensuring team members have access to accurate and up-to-date project documentation. Choice B is incorrect. Forcing all team members into overlapping hours may lead to burnout, particularly in global teams. It's not always feasible and doesn't address the root cause, which are unclear processes and documentation gaps. Choice C is incorrect. While regional leads may sound helpful, this creates unnecessary hierarchy and risks filtering or misinterpreting communication. It adds complexity and undermines centralized control in predictive environments. Choice D is incorrect. Informal chats can help with quick clarifications, but relying on them for critical handoffs and requirements introduces inconsistency and reduces traceability, something predictive projects depend on. Awesome work completing all 10 questions on resource management in Waterfall projects. This brings you to 70 PMP questions mastered so far. Every question you tackle brings you one step closer to exam success. If you found this helpful, be sure to like the video and subscribe to PM Aspirant for more PMP prep content. When you're ready, I'll see you in the next topic.